Blimey, mates. Taco the morning to you. I up duck. Today I'm chuffed to bits because I get to drive this lovely example of British engineering. So just sit back, relax, get yourself a glass of water, maybe some crumpets and tea, and we'll talk about it. This lovely example of a Defender 110 belongs to my mate Robert, and I'm quite excited, being quite excited to get the opportunity to drive it. Okay, I'm not really British at all, and I know I had you fooled, but yeah, we'll talk about this. And I was told that if I run out of sounding British things, just get a helium balloon and talk out of that. So we might try that later. And I got a British friend who, so I feel like I'm an expert on the language, although she's probably not my friend anymore after she sees this. All right, Robert, tell me about this thing. What are we looking at? It's was a 91 Defender 110?
1991 Defender 110.
And this is actually the right-hand drive off the boat from the motherland.
It is European British spec. We imported it to the States a couple years ago. It is in a current state of work, like all vintage vehicles.
Yeah, so it's a 91, and the things you're upgrading right now is you're putting power windows in, got a modern stereo.
Gauges, got electric door locks.
Okay.
Put in.
Power windows, power door locks. You're putting air conditioning in, right?
I did put air conditioning in it.
AC. AC is a big deal in these. Like, it wasn't even an option until...
It was not an option. These were pretty basic. They weren't actually an option until, I believe the NAS versions had them in '95.
So you're saying that everything was like backwards from what we're used to. Like the crank windows, before you replace them, you actually rolled opposite of what you would here.
In an American vehicle, it's all opposite, including the ignition key. You turn backwards instead of forwards to start.
The key turns towards you. So you actually grab this beast and comes towards you instead of away. The horn, you push in to work the horn. But it's really in good shape, right? I mean, this one's a really nice example. All these body panels are aluminum, right?
Every bit of the body's aluminum except for the firewall.
And then it used to have the bench seats, but you got rid of those, didn't you? Or
it had troop seats in the back. They are currently in the house. They rattle a lot.
Tell me about the tire. You said the wheel, it didn't make it with the spare?
So the vehicle was loaded on the boat in Europe with a spare wheel and tire attached to the vehicle, just like it is now. When the vehicle got off the boat in Washington, D.C., it no longer had a wheel and tire spare. And so we went looking for a new replacement and ended up ordering the wheel from Europe because of the lug pattern. Nothing stateside really runs that lug pattern. So after waiting a month to get the wheel, we went after a replacement tire. Wanted a match to the other four, which you can see here. I believe that's a BFG KM2.
So they are a mud terrain, but it's a weird size, right? You said this is a British European spec?
It is a size that was only ever E-marked for European use, so they are only available in Europe, not in the United States. So to get something close to that tire size, I had to go with a different style tire, which is important because all-wheel drive, you don't want mismatched tire sizes. It can strain the drivetrain.
Is it full-time all-wheel drive?
It is full-time all-wheel drive with a center lock diff.
So you can lock the diff, and does it have low range?
It does have 4 low.
And this has got the diesel 2.0, is that right?
It's actually a 2.5. They call it the 200 TDI.
The 200 TDI is a 2.5. That makes no sense.
Pretty sure the 300 TDI is also a 2.5, so I don't understand it either.
Someone that's British, explain this to me. Oh man, it's really clean under here. You said you upgraded something on the turbo?
I did. I put a new cartridge in the center to get a little more power. These things stock were, I don't know, 120 horsepower. And you felt every bit of what it lacked. So I upgraded the turbo, give it more boost, and actually put a bigger intercooler on it to help out.
It's bigger intercooler, turbo, air conditioning, right?
Yep.
That's important.
You know, in the States, we like to drive fast and on the interstate, and now with the new turbo, I can keep up with 65 miles an hour on the interstate. So, you know, it being a 91, it's not real old or vintage, but things like the doors would swap on this vehicle between all the Defenders, which started in 87, I think, 86, something like that, all the way up to 2015. They pretty much look exactly the same, and even the Series 1 and 2 look pretty darn similar. I am asked all the time what year this thing is, and they are disappointed when I tell them a 91 because they assume it's older.
I mean, it's a modern classic. It's a beautiful truck. I mean, 91, it's almost 30 years old now. And part of owning a classic car, you're not going to go beat on it. You're not going to take a 91 911 and go wheel-to-wheel racing it. So it's a beautiful car, and I totally get not beating on it because, well, I couldn't afford to fix it.
No, that's the biggest thing, and it's not even just being able to afford to fix it, but like the wheels, it took a month to get. Something breaks or breaks down on it, it's quite the wait for replacement parts. But you know, it's got features that are interesting, like seats that completely, it'll fold down, but in addition, they fold all the way forward, so you have a very large bed in the back.
Got the door panels off the front. He promises those are going on, but it takes time and energy, and with a toddler.
The doors were the worst part. This door's not too bad. The front doors, the bottoms were completely rusted out, and so I want to take a look at that. They were only really the rusted part on the vehicle. Completely cut out all the rot, replaced it with new metal. The coating's a Pour 15, so it'll never rust again. And then it got more cut up when I put in electric windows that were supposed to bolt right in. And as you can see here, this is the factory part of the regulator. This is the electric part of the regulator, because the drop-in, bolt-in parts had to be cut in half and highly modified to fit. So,
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different changes they made through the years, so
yes,
totally makes sense.
Absolutely.
Show me your power window switch right now.
Oh, power window switch.
This is the only part of the thing that's a little janky right now. It'll get together, but this is worth seeing. So you got to plug it in. That's important.
Like an old vehicle, you have to kind of slam the door, and without the door panel on, the window kind of flops around a little too much. So you actually have to do this. You have to roll the window up before you shut the door.
So you got your DeWalt old 18-volt battery.
It's old, so I figure it's not putting out what it's supposed to.
That's awesome.
Reverse polarity. Goes right down.
That's awesome.
And if you want to do the other side, you take the wire to the other side. I do have all the switches and everything necessary to put in the dash. That's kind of why it's hanging loose right now, so I can get everything wired up. Added 3 gauges, including boost pressure, exhaust gas temperature, which is very important on turbos because they like to melt pistons, and an oil pressure gauge because it doesn't have one. It has a light.
Well, we say we take it for a spin. brake, left hand shifting. This isn't my first time driving a left hand manual. 3 years in Japan are paying off now. So right now it's just an open diff all-wheel drive, right?
Correct.
And it's got a diff in both axles and the transfer case, right?
Right.
So we can get one wheel spinning and get all the power to one wheel.
Absolutely.
And then we lock the diff, and that gives us at least 2 wheels will spin at all time.
Correct. One in the front, one in the back.
Where's the gear? That's it.
Negative.
Nope, that's not the gear. That's the gear.
Negative.
Nope.
There you go.
Oh yeah, now we're in gear. Working it. Does this go anywhere? Just around?
Got me. There's no trails or drives back here. Pretty much whatever you can drive through is what you got. We'll call it our Safari.
It's our Safari, our British Safari. Hey up, duck! Well, I'm pretty well running out of British things to do, so here we go.
What's up, Doc? Hi up, Doc. This thing's great. How's my British?
Oh, I think that works really well. I need some more.
How do I sound?
Less impressive than the first time.
I think that's all we got out of that one. Well, she's loud, underpowered, smells kind of funny. I love it. This thing's great. Classic little off-road rig. Let's open this baby up. There's 15. I don't want to go faster than that and jar my teeth out on this field when we hit a bump.
You got one balloon left. You got one opportunity to be British.
Cheerio, mates. This one didn't work at all. Cheerio. Oh, let's see that blood.
That's probably better than
Cheerio, mates. Thanks for joining. Thanks for tolerating my southern drawl attempt at British, and I hope you enjoyed it. It's a cool vehicle, and if you haven't done it yet, think about subscribing. I don't know why I got like 5 videos, but if you choose to, I appreciate it. See you later.
Show us merge.
See what she's got. There's 25.
It shifted early.
Oh, where's my red line?
I don't know on this. That's as much boost as you got. There you go. Shifted.
35. We got this. It rides like a unicycle. Woo-wee! There's 60. Merging. Here I come, people. 65 highway speeds. I was told it's very important to get the 2 drip pans underneath because it's British and all British vehicles leak. I feel like in the Aston Martin factory, it just has drip pans everywhere.